I'll let you individuals know when we're live because we're getting there. Uh, YouTube usually goes up first. Yeah, I do. Oh yeah, I got a whole lot over here. I actually need to clean up though. It looks a mess. It looks a mess. This is not usually how I do things. Right. That's because the camera is strategically placed. It's placed so I don't have to worry about these problems. All right, so we're live on. You can't hear me. You can't hear me. What the fuck? What do you mean? Oh, come on, you playing with me? Okay, because so it says better when I do this. I should not have to get this close. I don't know what that's about. It might be time to get a new mic. uh, yeah, usually I don't have to be this close to the mic. What you mean? Are you kidding me? Jesus, Jesus, what technical difficulties will ensue, right? It was all together, nigga. It is all together, nigga. It's all together. I don't know what's happening right now. Is it still going in and out? It's okay. It's okay. All right. I don't know what the fuck's happening. I never aim to impress anybody. Never aim to impress. Um, you talking to a guy who literally pulls? I pull up in pajama pants and flip flops. Okay, does that sound better? Hello, testing, 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 testing. I have no idea what could be causing it. Does it ever usually do this? it, pause. That's a super pause. I think he legitly likes all the Ball brothers. The Ball brothers as a unit is his favorite player. I would say the Ball brothers as a unit. Oh, Steph. Okay, well Steph Curry is actually my favorite, so I can rock with him on that. I don't even watch that much, but Steph is the guy. That nigga is amazing. D Wade is acceptable. To Embiid. Yeah, nah, I mean, I gotta say, I don't think anybody, I don't think anybody's doing what Steph Curry's doing. But okay, so he is. I'm not gonna lie. He's definitely doing some. He's definitely doing some shit. Um, it went away again. It went away again. Okay. Well, listen. So listen. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Listen, listen. I can't even laugh as hard as I want to laugh right now. Listen, I can't laugh as hard as I want to laugh right now because I had an asthma attack this morning. But you can hear me right now. You can? Okay. How about now? How, how about now? No, no. I just changed the settings. How about now? I, how about now? Testing. How about now? Yeah, because I just changed my settings. So I need to know. I hope it works too because everything's saying it's working perfectly fine over here. So, uh, um, uh, what the fucking fuck? Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, all right. Say something.
Say something. I'm giving up on you.
Follow you. All right, we good. All right, cool.
Yes.
So, all right, introductions because apparently this whole first half is getting cut off. Um, or probably edited in at some point. Bloopers. So
Yeah,
we have audio.
bloopers.
We have audio. It seems to be working right now. I'm
Oh,
not phased it
snap.
out. Am I phased out?
You sound good right now.
Okay, don't scare me. Don't scare me like that, bro. You said it was snapping. I just thought I went out again. I'm gonna say
This is
what
my
the
I
fuck.
knocked my own glasses off. That's why I said it'll snap. Go
I
ahead.
saw what
Just go
happened. So,
ahead.
all right. So here we go. Today we're having an interesting day because we have a new host. Cameron.
Host.
What, I mean, not hosts. We're all hosts.
Cast member.
A new,
Maybe that's more of an appropriate term.
a new cast member.
Cast member. Yes.
Ricardo. How do you pronounce your last name? Smichael.
No, but what? No, 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 I want to see how you pronounce it. How do you pronounce it?
Smichael.
Well, I said it. I
Hey!
said it. So you got. I said
Oh, I
it.
No,
didn't
no,
hear
no.
you
I
say
said
it.
Smichael before you said Smichael. I said Smichael. I
Okay,
mean,
all
it
right,
it look
okay.
it looks like it spells Michael. Who would say? What else would they say?
Actually, when that guy Denzel called you earlier, it was funny because he said Mr. Smickle, but we won't go into that.
Yeah,
Anywho,
yeah.
Well,
That
it's
was
cool. It's cool because we most people can't pronounce our last name altogether. So
yeah.
we're
Hey, look,
Plets.
Cam, the
Cam
cameraman is here.
Cam has showed up. So we have our new cast member, which is Ricardo. Cameron just showed up late in Cam fashion, and of course, when he shows up, all we see is a chair. We have
Yeah.
Sarade
Yeah.
here as usual to crack jokes, and we have
I don't crack jokes. I just spit too. I'm sorry.
and
Go ahead.
we have Kai here walking these streets, the streets of Philadelphia in the middle of the night with and I don't know what the hell he's doing.
He probably
but
just got
he's
off
here.
his second job from getting yams. That's his second job.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's usually his second job is getting yams. It's true.
You
What
know,
I'm
I forgot
saying,
I had
what
a
I'm
duty
saying
later
is
on,
that
so they can see me.
he has a headset, so I don't understand why he couldn't turn the headset. I guess because he
Well,
got motion.
Cam wasn't here, so he probably felt like he needed to be Cam. So hopefully now that Cam is here, he'll turn his audio on and be himself. Unless all we would hear are the sounds of walking, at which point that wouldn't really be something you want to add in because people get really funny about their podcasts and unnecessary noises and sounds. Like even if a cat sneezes, people will complain about that. So I don't know. Maybe Mikhail being mute right now is probably the best thing.
We'll see. All right. So the topics that we have written down are I did break them down, didn't I? I'm not tripping. I did.
Did you? Don't know.
I swear I did. I wrote them down. Somebody must have put
Uh-oh.
something. No,
Somebody
no,
else did it.
no. I got it. Okay, so the first topic
Oh,
is loyalty. What was your exact words?
loyalty. It was something. So loyalty in relationships. So the
Hmm.
reason. So all right, I'm not gonna put nobody business out here. But I was talking to a friend that
Right,
everybody here who knows me knows who my friends are.
right,
So I got to kind of not say too much. But
right,
he's talking to this girl right now,
right.
and he was attracted to her, and they were like chatting, and he found out she had a boyfriend. So he was like, all right, well, I'll just kind of step back. We'll still just kind of be friends, but I'm not going to pursue her like that.
Right.
And then she kind of starts flirting with him in the text messages. And then I didn't really hear anything about it for like a week. And then yesterday I'm finding out that they've been having sex in his car, and very interesting developments all of a sudden. Like, she just does not give a fuck about the fact that she has a boyfriend.
Right. That happens.
And so I'm like, I feel like in the last like 7 or 8 years, right after I got out of high school, maybe it's just because I just was old enough to start seeing it, but I feel like having we lost Mikhail. I feel like having side niggas and side chicks and all that stuff became super popular to the point where we just talk about it openly and freely. Like, yeah, you have your main chick or your main dude, but being disloyal to that main person and having a side nigga is totally normal these days. And it's like, you don't even like, oh, well, you just expect it. And I'm like, where did we get to the point where that's just the norm? Why is that the norm now?
So
I don't understand that part.
I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you where the climate changed. I'm telling you the climate changed. So where things are changing is what the idea of a relationship and what a marriage is has changed completely. So a lot of people that I know are now indulging in what you would call poly relationships. Like, I just found out apparently I'm surrounded by mad poly couples and didn't know it. But a lot of people have been converting to poly relationships. And that comes with the fact that people are now looking at the typical relationship setup and typical marriage setup. Like, I guess it's part of that whole rebellion to the typical design situation. Like, people feel like things were designed a certain way, we've been following it a certain way, and maybe that way may not be the best way because it hasn't been working. Like, if you go back all the way to the 70s, look at Ike and Tina's situation. Like, look, it's a lot of situations in which the typical relationships wasn't working. But even if in history, when things don't work, typically you change it. Well, one of the few things that haven't changed is how people viewed relationships until recently. But if you look at how relationships have been, they don't typically work that well. You usually have somebody cheating because people are usually missing a sexual partner, or you have people arguing because somebody doesn't understand somebody, and a lot of times you wish you had a mediator in the room, right? A lot of times you're like, yo, I wish I had somebody here that could see the bullshit you do, so you could have somebody on your side. And there's nobody here. But if you're in a poly relationship or a situation like that, then you constantly have somebody there to say, listen, on God, I know you.
Yeah, okay, but then in that situation, right, I feel like the poly relationship might then struggle because it's always like two people ganging up on the other one if one's the mediator. You know what I mean? Something like that causes a problem there. But I don't know. I don't personally, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem being in a version of a polyamorous relationship. Like, because I'm still young, right? So, and I'm currently talking to somebody who's even a little bit younger than me. So I know that I want to be in a relationship that is monogamous, but I also know that young people like to go out and have their fun. So I wouldn't necessarily want to strain the relationship by having us be like, oh, you can't be with anybody else right now. But I'm like, I know he hasn't experienced a whole bunch of other things with other people. So that's a conversation maybe we need to have at some point. But I feel like there's a disloyalty aspect to it, to where it's like people are just out here cheating openly, but there's an assumption that everyone's cheating openly, so it's okay.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's kind of like the ass eating thing.
Relationship.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that, but also like I think like I said, it comes down to, you know, people on a quest to remove norms at this point. Like right now, people are trying to remove the norms. Like, remember when ass eating was like a weird thing? Like, niggas, nobody ate ass. I remember when eating vagina was something that nobody talked about. Then Lil Wayne said he was eating vagina out here, and then that became like a thing. And now recently, this whole like ass eating movement's been going on.
Chris
and
Brown said you gotta eat the booty like groceries.
Yeah, and now there's a whole line of men and women who come out as ass eaters.
What you say, Mikhail?
He said he just ate the fuck out that girl ass.
So, see, with shame in the game.
Hey, like the shit has changed. It has changed so much. What'd you say?
The shit was too big not to.
This nigga do, man. But I mean, that's facts. I think more so what it is people are tired of the norms. People are used to seeing things not work. We grew up where grandparents and parents were in relationships that didn't work for years, but they still wanted to stick together. We grew up and seeing people break up and people become single parents and being raised by people who aren't actually the parents and things like that. So I think people in a mission to create like a new norm or to see what's going to work because what has been working isn't working. People are trying other things.
Yeah, I agree with the trying other things because, I mean, the average person out there nowadays, they get married pretty young, and marriage isn't lasting maybe 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
The divorce rate is super high in America. I think people are just looking for different ways to be comfortable in their own skin and relationships and figure out ways to not only, I don't think it's just about like the romantic side of things, but on an economical standpoint, you know, a lot of those relationships have benefits from that perspective as well. People are looking to build, people are looking to do different things with their lives, and that's one of the ways where they can get out of the rat race of things, man. So
Yeah.
I honestly can't really speak too much on like a polyamorous relationship or any relationship like that because I've never been in one, but it would be good to hear the perspective of somebody who is actually in a relationship like that, to hear how they would speak on it from you know, how things go when arguments arise and everything else that you know we are out here thinking that might happen but not really sure about.
Right. Yeah, because we're all
I want to
speaking.
say I want to add one thing, or my opinion on one thing he said. So when you talked about the divorce rate being high and all that kind of stuff, I don't think that necessarily has so much to do with what we're talking about. I think that a lot of people are just lonely. They get into a relationship, somebody proposes before they really have been together long enough to truly know who they're with. And that's why the relationship, I think, falls apart. It's because they were just lonely in the first place. And maybe that relationship, if they had spent more time vetting it out,
Well,
feeling
that's
out
what
the other person, getting to
the
know
reason
them.
why I brought that up is the reason why I brought up the whole idea of the divorce and all that is that some of these relationships that people are getting into traditionally aren't meant for everybody. So
Yeah, it's
people
not.
who are
He's right.
having relationships that are what we would call abnormal in our society, as we know society to be right now, are doing it because
Well, you say
it's
like a
not the
monogamous
norm.
relationship? You're
Say
saying
that
a
again?
monogamous relationship is
Yeah,
not the
like
norm?
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's
is
the norm.
It is the
That's
norm.
the
But what
norm,
I'm
but it
saying
doesn't
is
work for everybody.
for it does it's not what everybody fit into. So that is why you have people who are you know, they have bisexual partners with man and woman and whatever the combination of relationships are. That's why a lot of I think this is just a personal opinion. There's no facts to back this up. You know, that's what I think a lot of this is coming from because people are seeking other means to fill whatever need they have, you know, romantically and economically and all that kind of stuff. I think that plays a big part in how divorce and all that stuff goes. People see that stuff. You know, it may not have directly impact them in sense that they were married and then divorced and then got into a relationship like that. But I'm growing up in an environment where I'm seeing all of that. So do I really want to go that route? Is that route really for me, or is it or something new out there? Which is why a lot of people are going to polyamorous relationships and other different types of relationships because they're seeing all of this. They see people get married, get divorced. They see all of this stuff. You know what I mean? So they're trying new things. They want to know if they fit into that. And then sometimes some people just go right back to what the norm is, which is fine. It's just a matter of people wanting to figure out where they fit in the world, you know? That's what I think it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Cam
I
says
agree with what he's saying. What'd you say?
I was gonna say Cam had said something in the chat. He said nobody wants to put in the work anymore. Do you want to kind of elaborate on that, Cam?
You want to elaborate on it?
Want to elaborate on your statement? Yes, you, Cameron Stroud.
Forgot what we were talking about.
You just made a cup.
What? You typed in and you said nobody wants to put in the work anymore. So what was sort of like your thought process behind that statement?
I literally just told you I forgot what we were talking about.
Got it.
Holy shit.
Okay.
All right, so listen, what I'm gonna say is, and then we're gonna wrap it up, is I agree with what he's saying. You know, basically it's, and I can even see what Cam's saying, but I'm gonna tell you, I don't think it's a work ethic situation. I think it's more so like what Ricardo said. No.
Mikhail says yes, it is.
That's
we
not true
heard
because
Mikhail's take on this. Hold on, let's hear.
Yeah, let's see
Mikhail's
what you
take,
guys think. What you think?
He hasn't had a chance to talk.
What do you think?
Generation I'm talking about is mine, so I could tell you straight up, nobody.
No,
wants to
my
put it
generation
with
too, bro. My generation too.
You're married, Kevin.
But I'm talking about but what? No. But I'm saying is my generation. Well, my generation also is not following the norm. This is one thing I can say. This one thing I can say that it's not just your generation, bro. It's not just
I
Gen
never
Z.
said it was just mine, but it's being talked about by my generation. We're the ones. Yes, it is.
Bro,
yes, it
it's
is.
not just
We're
your
the ones
generation.
who own social media. We're the ones that's putting it out there. Yes,
No.
that's my generation.
I agree that it is more. That's what I'm saying. It became more prominent all of a sudden over the last like 7
Oh,
to
Yeah,
8
but
years.
you gotta look at it. But look at it.
Let me ask you
Listen,
this.
we
Let me
make
ask
this
this
joke, but
question.
listen, what generation came into true adulthood in the last 7 years?
Can I?
I'm talking about true adulthood.
Nobody's talking about.
Has it become more prominent, or has it become
It's
more
become
open
more
because of
that's-
social media?
That's
What is
that
it?
Exactly.
Because, I mean, this has been around forever.
And the main thing
It's
social
not like
media
it's
does.
new.
Right.
The main thing
But
social
I
media
think
does is
because of
influence.
all the media and everything that we have out there now, it's just like the internet, right? Before the internet, you and I did not know what was going on directly in South Africa or Jamaica or anywhere.
Right.
But now you can just go on the internet, you find out everything you want to find out, what happened there today, this morning, vice versa. So is it because more of that's going on why we're now seeing all of this stuff, even like stuff with police brutality and stuff like that? We're seeing more of this stuff only because people are recording it. People are putting it out there on social media and Facebook and all this type of stuff. So is that what happening, or is it just becoming more prominent because more people are doing it?
So what I'm gonna say is that I think more so this is something that's already existed. But the thing is, it's like, okay, for years before we had internet, before we had social media, you could be in your head you wanted to live a certain way, but everybody frowned upon that, so you felt like you was by yourself in this box. Now the internet has created a space where people who want to live a certain way find other people who want to live that same way with them. So it seems like it's a growing thing, but it's really what people already been thinking and feeling. It's just you had no access to people who thought and felt like you recently. And the reason why I say that my generation had a lot to do with it is because I remember being in school and this stuff was being talked about before I even left school. And the thing is in the last 7 years, my generation, who mind you, people in my generation are just turning 30. So in the last 7 to 8 years, the people who became true adults in this last generation, because most people don't look at you as a full adult till you about 25. Everything between 20 and 20, people don't really look at you that way. Even though you may be living that way. The average adult ahead of us don't look at you till you're about 25. So people who became full true adults in that time span has been us, and the people that came behind us is Denzel and Mikhail's generation. So I feel like that we've always been the more outspoken groups. The last two generations are super outspoken. And I think that's what caused this whole big shift, along with the social media boost. But I don't think it's just something that's being influenced. I think it was already there. It's just that nobody felt comfortable about it. It's like niggas been eating ass forever, but nobody talked about it until, it's like...
But that was my whole point on the topic is like, it's not that it's new.
I mean, they was, but it's not as many people. Because now a lot of girls just want that shit, so they open to say shit about it. Especially
Nah,
younger.
bro. I know people who've been. Listen, I remember when that shit first came out. I knew niggas that was in their 40s that said they was eating ass. I was at work, working in receiving. I was in receiving.
What the hell I said? I said people were doing it, but now a lot of women are more open to saying what they want.
Right. But men are too. Men
In
are
general.
So why
But
why
I
do you
agree
guys
what he's
think
saying.
that
The men
has
are too.
become so much
Yeah, the
more
men are
prominent
too.
now?
Because pop culture, the music, the TV shows, the jokes, the memes.
Well, also,
pop.
it's a comfortability thing. Like, people are more comfortable in their skin when it comes to things like that. Remember, back in the day, people didn't do certain things because it was frowned upon. If you
Nigga,
couldn't go
I didn't care
into
about that, but was frowned upon. I just spit in my girl butt like 4 days ago. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but
I'm saying, bro, you're a product. But you're a product of the freedom.
You're more of a maverick in that way. All right, you're one of the people who, no matter
He's
what
a
time
maverick,
you were
huh?
born in, yeah, we'll go with that term. He's a rebel. No matter what time you were born in, you probably would have been that same way, and you just didn't give a fuck, right? But generally speaking, most people who lived in prior generations when it wasn't to be popularized are not going to be that way. They're not going to openly have conversations about spitting in my girl's butt. It's not going to happen.
That makes sense because you have to remember the older generation, there's a lot more stigma on a lot of these things.
Heavy stigma.
Our generation or the younger generation or the now generation, we don't there's so much openness in the world generally, even on radio. Listen to the music that we play on our radio stations nowadays. People cussing, people, nobody don't care no more. You just do what you do. If you don't like it, you just don't like it. You know what I mean? Denzel and I always have these conversations about homophobia in Jamaica and stuff like that. And I was telling these stories about, you know, if I was home, like Denzel's my best friend. Most people would know that, but if I was living back home, that probably would not be the case. Not out of me disliking him or anything. It's just the culture. Yeah. You know, how it is now, I don't know. You know, I've lived there in a long time, but it's no different than what the culture is here in America in terms of what we're talking about, the topic we're on, in terms of eating butt and all that type of stuff. Like, it's not that people didn't do that stuff, but it just wasn't something talk about it. People even spoke. It was such a stigma behind it. It's like, yo, what
you didn't
talk
about
it?
You know? Then it was more so you didn't talk about.
Now people don't care, man.
Man, listen,
people are gonna live their lives. They're just enjoying whatever they like. They like.
Do y'all realize it wasn't until like 1990 something that people were open about giving head? Like women, women and men were not telling.
I don't know.
Women and men were not talking about sucking penis or eating vagina until like the.
You know what though? That might be true because I can see older folks cringing even now.
Yeah, they were.
When you talk about that.
You didn't talk about that shit.
A bizarre topic to bring up if you're around a certain age group.
I don't do that towel.
But yeah, I guess I understand that. I can see that.
All right, so that pretty much took like 30 minutes, but it's cool though. We got 10 minutes left, so we're gonna go straight to the segment that.
Cam, can you mute yourself? Because now it's like we're getting double audio. It's messing things up.
It's alright, I can mute him.
Okay.
Yeah, I have full control over it.
Gucci.
So we can hop into this other subject real quick. We have 10 minutes. Hold up, here it is.
I don't think we're able to get to the sports one. I think we have to skip that one.
All right, so we're gonna get to the Matrix one. So I mean, I don't know. I'm a huge fan of the Matrix, and
Me too.
I actually saw it pop
Who's
up.
Not though?
Yo, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that's not, which is weird. I actually had so many arguments with people trying to say it was corny. And I think a lot of them, it always came down to them not understanding the movie, or not understanding the meaning of it, or even them not having the ability to grasp that there could be a possible chance that their reality is not real.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it could for most people, because there's a lot of people out there who don't believe some things are just too unreal for them, right? Like if something like The Matrix, which most people would consider to be fantasy, sci-fi, thrillers, stuff like that. Some people don't even care for stuff like that because it's just too far-fetched for them to see that anything like that could ever happen. They're more down to earth, more grounded in reality.
Hold on. So I have a problem with that. I don't know how that can be a true statement if the biggest money getters in the box offices are all the superhero movies, which are clearly fabricated realities and nothing real about them. So
See,
I don't know how you
I'm
can say that it's stretched too far if we're all super hyped about every superhero movie that comes out.
I'm gonna answer that. So people, they are aware that comic books are comic books. And because they know that it's coming off of pages, it's fine. But when you start telling me that the toilet I'm sitting on exists in another reality,
sounds weird, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, when you start telling me the toilet I'm sitting on exists in another reality, that's
Ricardo?
when it start tripping.
Ricardo, you know what I'm getting ready to say right now. Stretch. I don't know about that one.
Okay, so I don't know. I guess I had a similar conversation with a lady the other day, and
So
she
we
was
have a dog now.
she was basically saying to me that anything that's fantasy she doesn't really get into because it's too far away, not grounded in her own reality.
And see, that's like Janae.
So she can't get into anything that's fantasy, even like if it's like a romance comedy or something like that. But if it's like something, you know how they kind of go overboard sometimes with the romance or something like that. She can't get into it. So I mean, I guess there's a lot of people out there like that, regardless of the fact that a lot, like you were saying, Denz, a lot of those blockbuster movies that we watch, the Iron Mans and all of those, they make billions and billions of dollars. There are a lot of people who are into that, but there's a lot of people who are not,
Right.
I understand that people
for example,
are not.
like Janaea don't like space movies for that same exact reason. She feels like space is too out there, and she can't watch them.
But I personally don't get that, though.
That's
I personally
tangible.
don't get that because I always look at it this way. I always say to myself, if I'm here right now sitting in my house, what makes me believe I can't be that out of my mind thinking that I'm the only being that exists in this universe.
But you know what? That's self-awareness.
All these things that we're the only people who can see these things. We're the only, it's just so, that's a far-fetched thing for me to believe.
Yeah.
I agree.
See, people don't have self-awareness like this, though. Like, I think how you think, bro. Like, for me, my mind is always outside myself. So I feel like, okay, there's no way that it's just us. Or there's no way that this is the only reality. Or, I mean, for me, that's how my mind thinks. But a lot of people don't want to think outside themselves that way because when you have to think about it and grasp it, it's like I watched the show Lucifer, right? And in the show Lucifer,
Ricardo watches that too.
So in the most recent seasons, when God finally showed up and they actually were starting to learn about the celestial beings, there were like whole episodes dedicated to people trying to figure out how to grasp the idea. Like, and that's really how I imagine a lot of people would be. Like, I feel like if God showed up, I'd be like, yo, what's up, dog? I knew you were here. But there's a lot of people who will be like, so am I going to hell now? Like, it's a lot of people that will have 1,001 questions. I might have a few, but it wouldn't blow me out the water to see that this thing exists. Like, and there were people literally like ready to check themselves in when they realized God was real. And one person was religious. You're religious. Spend your whole life religious, and then God shows up, and you still can't believe it's God.
I can understand it though, because if you think about it, the whole I don't want to say the whole because that's a big statement to make, but most of the belief system surrounding religion and theology and all of that is based on passed down learned behavior, right? So if I grew up in, say, a religious home, I'm only religious because that's how I was taught to be. If I
Right.
was not brought up in a religious home,
Mhm.
more than likely, I'm probably not going to be.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not too far fetched for you to see somebody be like in awe or shocked that, oh, they it really, because they're just, their whole belief system is based on somebody telling them they should behave this way, they should
Right.
act this way.
Right.
It's not necessarily anything they came up with on
and
their
see,
own.
and see that spins back around to the first conversation because we're talking about a lot of people now trying different stuff because they were told they had to have a relationship, or this is how things are supposed to be. So it spins back around the same way. I believe a lot of stuff, like a lot of way that the world is now, is based off of how people were told to be, and these last
Absolutely.
these last two generations, whether it's good or bad, have been on a mission to break away
To
from that.
buck the trends, yeah.
That buck the trends. Like there's like a divide right now of people who we've been doing this forever, so it should stay this way, and people who are like, maybe we should alter this, or we should do something with it. I like the arrow in the middle of it, where I feel like some things need to be changed, but some things are a step too far. So like we need to find the middle ground where we can kind of step this way, but not step over the mountain and flip over the bridge. And that's where we have the problems at. Some people slingshot way too far.
Well, I mean, I'm with you somewhat in like I think you need a happy medium, but I'm also a big proponent of as long as you're not hurting other people, go be great. Do whatever it is you want to do, even if that is an extreme that I don't want to explore. As long as it's not hurting other people, other animals, other beings, or truly messing up society in basic human rights and standards, you go to the other side of that bridge. You jump off that cliff. That has nothing to do with me.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to close up because we got less than a minute left. Today was fun. I enjoyed the conversation. Thanks, Cam, for your input. Fantastic.
Yes.
Mikkel, thanks for being here. You were great. All right, guys.
He's not here right now, just to be clear.
I know.
He has been gone for like 10 minutes.
All right, guys. So we out on that note. And I'm probably, this one was so clean, I might just drop it as is, to be honest. I probably should just drop this one as is. I want to do spoilers, but I don't know, man.